Today on the podcast, we're talking cream of the crop, comedic aspirations, and 30 for 30 for 30. This is the Kansas City Podcast. Welcome to the Kansas City Podcast. I'm your host, Cole Lindbergh. You know, many of you know me from my 5-star Uber rating. And if not, it's nice to meet you. You know, each week here on the Kansas City Podcast, we are joined by a one-of-a-kind KC native for a conversation on life in the city of fountains. And I'm very excited today. I have a man of many hats, a man of many talents.
Yeah.
He is a stand-up comedian. He is a weekly regular on the D.L. Hughley radio show. Mm-hmm. And he has out now a brand new, what would you classify as, like an album, an EP? Like, what do you call it?
We're going to call it an album.
An album, a comedy album.
Yeah.
Called 30 for 30 for 30. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Brandon Patrick. Brandon, welcome to the Kansas City Podcast.
That's an intro.
Hey, I did pretty good, right?
That's an intro.
Well, now you got a lot to live up to.
I'll bring you places, man. That was great.
So, I don't even know where to begin. I'm actually holding in my hand right now a copy of, it says Brandon Patrick, 30 for 30 for 30, the birthday album.
Yeah.
Was this like kind of like I'm turning 30, I got to put out an album? Is that where the name came from?
Okay, so 30 for 30 for 30.
Yeah.
There's an ESPN series called 30 for 30, obviously.
It's great.
That is 30 minutes for 30 people on my 30th birthday.
Oh, wow.
So it's 30 for 30 for 30.
You hit the trifecta.
Yeah, and it's like my birthday present to the world.
And yourself.
And if it works.
If it works. So this is out now.
Out now.
Where can people find it? Or,
Amazon, iTunes, and BrandonComedy.com.
BrandonComedy.com. Now, I'm reading over, we were discussing a little bit before we started because your mother did the introduction on the album. And then I'm just going to read through the track list here. Economics and Cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
I always liked it in like comedy records when, it's just like a really weird track title and you don't know what to expect. What can people expect when they listen to 30 for 30 for 30 by Brandon Patrick?
It looks, okay, so like I was looking at albums, like comedy albums.
Yeah.
Usually they have like 20 tracks. Like
right.
Crazy. Right. I write really long jokes. So the album has 5 tracks, one of which is 40 seconds of my mom talking.
Okay.
So it's like, oh man, this thing's really short. But each track is like almost 10 minutes long.
Okay.
So it's like you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, should have done more cuts.
So you're like a long, like kind of drawn out storyteller guy?
Yeah, it's like really long-winded. Like the first story is like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Second story is like 8. It's just long.
How'd you get into comedy? What was the thing? Were you a funny kid growing up? I always thought
funny.
I was a funny kid, but more funny looking. But
it was pretty funny. It was so it's actually D.L. Hughley.
Okay.
I was thinking about this a lot today. When I was a little kid,
yeah,
I never heard both of my parents laugh loudly at the same thing before. I'd never heard that before. And one night I was in my room, and they were both just like dying.
Okay.
Like gasping for air laughing. I was like, I'm going to go see what's happening. And the way our old house was set up, you had to get to the kitchen, you had to go through the living room.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll just go get some water. And I go, and I take a peek at the TV, and just a guy on stage talking. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's like a classroom? What's going on here? And I'm in the kitchen getting the water, and they're cracking up. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's on a movie.
Yeah.
Like, so I go in, and I'm looking, and it's a show called Comic View.
Okay.
With D.L. Hughley. And he's making fun of people in the audience. And my parents are just dying. And I'm like, you can just talk?
Right.
What? Blew my mind. And then later I saw he was in an episode of Fresh Prince.
Okay, yeah.
Same guy. He was in an episode of Fresh Prince. Will Smith thinks he can do comedy. And he famously bombs in the episode. And then DL goes up and saves him.
Okay.
And saves the show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so this guy is the guy that does this.
Yeah.
Cool. And they're like, yeah, it's called, it's stand up. And they kind of explain the basics. You just tell jokes. And then I'd really into that. So they bought me a joke book.
Oh, was it? I had a bunch of joke books as a kid, like the real, like kind of like elementary ones, you know, like
Yeah, these were like Laffy Taffy.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so what I would do is I would memorize as many of these as I can, and then I would learn, like I would watch, I'd sneak in and watch some Comic View, and then I would tell them at school, like I would sit on the lunch table, or I would stand on the lunch table, and everyone would circle me, and I would tell these stories, or these jokes,
Okay.
and I was always a bad kid, so the teachers were like, here's what we're going to do. This is obviously like an outlet for you. So what we're going to do is, if you can be good for a week, you can tell one joke on the Friday announcements.
Oh, wow.
So for like 2 weeks, I got to do, or it was like a month, I got to do it. And then I started writing my own jokes.
Okay.
And my joke was, what would happen if, I'm trying to remember it. It was like 6. What would happen if white people woke up in black people's bodies and we decided to do slavery again?
you,
I was very young.
you were 6?
I was like 6. That was
Okay.
my grandma's favorite joke.
Okay.
She would like choke.
Okay, well, hold on. Okay, so I should have said, I don't know.
Yeah.
But okay, what would happen if...
There's no punchline.
Oh,
The whole joke
oh, Jesus.
was just, what if we just started whooping white people and telling them what to do?
Okay.
My grandma she would choke. She would just die laughing. And everywhere we went, she's like, tell your joke.
So the joke.
Tell your joke. We'd be at the, grocery store. I'd, tell the joke. And
That's a really, that's a multi-layered joke for a 6-year-old.
yeah, that's pretty advanced.
You got,
Yeah.
you were
And-
way advanced.
Nothing on the album is that good.
No.
But like, she was like, tell your joke. And so I'm thinking I'm killing.
Yeah.
Really, it's only funny to her.
Okay.
I'm telling it to people at the grocery store and they're like, oh, that's okay.
How old are you, young man?
Yeah. And so I remember I showed up to do my announcements and I didn't have the joke book with me. And they're like, oh, did you memorize it? And I was like, I wrote my own joke. And they were so excited. Oh. The principal came out, the vice principal came out, everyone came out because it was like, oh, he's going to do his joke. And then I was like, hey, what would happen? And I remember, like, they let me get through the whole thing.
Okay.
And I was like stretching. I was like, just imagine, like, you're like picking cotton and we're just whooping you. And like, the lady is like, she wants to flip the switch to like turn the, because
Okay, so this
to
is
the
going
whole
down to the school. Yeah, okay.
She's trying to flip the switch, but it's like, it's so baffling to hear a child talk about this.
Yeah.
And she's just, what?
Wow. That's okay.
And then I was like, thanks guys. And I'm trying to like walk out and like, no, you can't leave. We're
We have
calling
to
your
talk
parents.
about this, yeah.
I'm like, oh, they already know the joke. Like, I'm thinking you couldn't get in trouble for this.
Yeah, you're thinking that like I've just done the greatest thing in the entire world.
No, they took that gig from me.
Wow.
And then I didn't do comedy until so I never knew how you do comedy.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of actors did comedy.
Yeah.
And a lot of like former famous people, like Dustin Diamond.
Okay.
So it's like, I think you have to be an
Screech.
actor to be a comedian.
Yeah.
And so I never really pursued it.
Yeah.
I was telling a friend, I was like, I'd love to do stand-up, but like, I don't know how to act. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I want to do stand-up, but I never been in movies.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you got to do open mics. I was like, what's an open mic? And we were living in Oklahoma City at the time. And so there's a local comedy club called the Looney Bin. We went down there, and I remember I brought a film crew with me, my first time to do stand-up.
Really?
Yeah, I brought a film crew.
Like just a couple guys with cameras, or
A couple
like
guys with cameras, audio, the whole thing.
Oh wow.
It was like 4 people.
Okay.
It was like the whole thing.
Like, did
And
you pay him?
No, so
This is. I
my
mean.
buddy had like a fledgling film company,
Okay.
and he was like, we're going to make a documentary.
Yeah, we got to capture this moment.
Nobody has their first set on video. We're going to get your first set. Little did I know, you don't want to have your first set on video.
Yeah.
Like, Steven Taylor, one of my comedian friends, has a podcast called Set to Destroy.
That's right. Yeah.
Were they,
Steven,
like-
who's been on the show before.
Yeah,
Good
friend of
guy.
the show.
Yeah.
They roast old sets.
That's right. Yeah, they roast old set, like the very first set you ever did.
Yeah.
And I think you were on there
We
recently.
just
right?
did it with my old set, and
Oh,
it was
wow.
it's painful. It was so unfunny. I remember going back to my buddy's house. It was actually the second time I did stand up. We went back to my buddy's house, and we were editing the video. because we got to put out to the world, you know?
Right,
They got to see this. And, like, wherever the jokes were, we would put in, like, clip art. Like, it's hard to explain.
Like clip art from, like, old, like, Microsoft
Yeah,
Word and stuff?
yeah, this is, like, 2009, so, like, yeah, this was, like,
So, like,
old,
you tell a joke, like, and let's say it's about a horse, and, like, horse clip art
a
would come
picture
up?
of a horse would show up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you were, like, trying to edit it, like, you know, do, like, some video,
Yeah.
fancy video editing to go along with it. Okay.
We'd never seen anything like that, so we're like, this is what we got to do. At one point, we put, like, you know those Batman special effects where it's, like, boink or whatever?
Yeah.
We did a couple of those.
Okay.
And it's like, man.
Starting to sound like something like you'd see late night on Adult Swim.
Yeah, no, it, like, looking back, it's like, you're a monster. This is...
Did you do sound effects too? Like the zoink
We didn't
would come
do
in?
sound
It was
effects.
just the image or the clip art would come in just while you're talking.
So, like, I didn't have a closer. So when I was done, I was like, I think my drink's here. And then a drink would appear in my hand.
Oh, wow.
Or, like, at one point, my grandpa came to the show. And I was like, my grandpa's here. And I point, and, like, you remember the old dancing Six Flags guy?
Yeah.
He would appear. It was...
It sounds incredible.
Oh, man, it's unsalvageably bad. And, like, me and this guy aren't friends anymore.
Yeah.
We had, like, a falling out over a girl. And it's like, I've messaged him in the past, like, hey, can you take that down?
Oh.
And he's like...
Oh, it's on, like, his YouTube account?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. 600 views. I'm like, can we get that down? And he's like, no, this is phase 1 of your destruction.
Oh, damn.
His exact words.
He's out for you.
He's not happy.
So, with all that being said, because I mentioned at the top of the show, I mean, you're a weekly guest on D.L. Hughley's radio show.
Yeah.
And so, if, like, D.L. Hughley was, like, a major part of the reason that you got into comedy. So, I mean, I can only imagine,
Yeah.
you know, like, if you're weekly, you're talking to him once a week now.
This is all his fault.
So like, do you ever have, like, that weird, oh my God, I'm talking to you, like, feeling? Or, like, is that past? Or, like, what was that like?
We've been
getting
doing
into
it
that?
for 2 years.
Okay.
So that's gone now.
Okay. But when it first started, it was
When
there.
it first started, it was really bad because he's hard to reach,
Okay.
like, outside of that.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is my only chance to talk to him. And so I try to, like, have conversations with him when we're doing this segment. And the segment's about books. So it's like, you're supposed to just get in, talk about your book, promote your shows.
Okay.
But I'd be like, yeah, like, how's the wife? How are the kids? And he's like, yeah, that's great. What about the book?
Right.
And so, like, we did a show together. And he was like, just do the book. Don't talk about anything. I was like, but I miss you. And
I want to hear how you're doing.
he's like, here's my phone number. Just call me if you want to have those conversations. But just be funny on the radio. And so now we've kind of found our rhythm where it's, I'll read, like, the title of a book.
Yeah.
And then I'll pretend that that's what the book is about.
Okay.
So, like, example, Old Man of the Sea.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, man, I read this book, Old Man of the Sea. It's about this super old dude, and he just, every day, he looks at the sea. And then global warming's coming, and he's like, what's going to happen to the sea? But he's also old. So is he going to see global warming? Or is the sea going to be around when he, you know? Read it to find out.
I like it. Old
And he's
Man
like,
of the
that's
Sea.
not what the book's about, is it? It's like, no, but listen, man, I'll be at the Improv this weekend doing stand-up with such and such. And then we just get into it, and it's a lot more fun now.
Well, that sounds great then. So, I mean, so you've managed to have some sort of rapport with him and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
How, you know, being a comedian in Kansas City, obviously we've had a couple different comedians on the show.
Yep.
I would say, you know, Stephen Taylor, Matt Keck was our first ever guest. Cam F. Awesome has been on the show. There's been a lot
Cam F. Awesome is a public speaker, not a comedian.
Whatever. He's if you when him and I sat down, you would have thought that public speaking was one of the last things he wanted to do in the entire world. That he would much rather be on a comedy stage. So I'll throw him in there a little bit. I know he's a crazy man. So how about tell me about Kansas City comedy? You know, I always ask this question, like how people feel like comedy in Kansas City's going, and I know that you, we talk about the Rhino a lot on this show.
As we should.
Ben Went, you know, who's been on the show twice now. A couple weeks ago, we talked about the Rhino, we talked about the Rhino with Micah from Modern Fitzgerald, who said it's one of his modern day Fitzgerald, who said it's one of his favorite places to play and to go to. you're booking a show now. The Cream of the Crop is
Cream
now
of the
at
Crop
Rhino.
every second Saturday at the Rhino.
Okay.
So when I started in Kansas City, I've been in Kansas City for 5 years now.
Okay.
When I started in Kansas City, your choices were, and it was very tribal in a way. You were either Team Improv,
Right.
Team Stanford's,
Forget about it.
or Team, I can't get into either one really.
Okay.
And it was very it was very like, I guess I moved here 6 years ago, because 5 years was the last time I ever did Stanford's. But like, I remember outside of those three things, there was nothing for you comedically. You know,
Right.
there was no real open mics. Arts Bar hadn't even started up yet. So it was, you got your Tuesday open mic at Stanford's, and then, you know, but I've always kind of hated Stanford's.
You're not the only one.
I don't know if you can say that, but like, they're just like really shitty people. And like, comedians will take any gig.
Right.
And it's like, hey, you're being mistreated and you're not being compensated fairly. Yeah, but it's the only thing around. And for a long time, that was their, you know, that was the drum they'd beat. Oh, it's the only thing around. I got the Improv 5 years ago, and they've been booking me consistently since then. And so I looked at my first Improv check. I looked at my last Stanford's check, and I was like, I'll never go back.
Yeah.
I'll never go back. And it's been 5 years. I've never gone back. But like, the thing is, I tell people, hey, you have to know your value. You have to say, this is what I'm worth. And you have to like rigidly enforce that, even when it's not convenient.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I've been fired from the Improv before.
Yeah.
You know, for, you know, various reasons. Been fired a bunch of times, you know, and it's like, I might not get back in, you know? And if I've set my price at, you know, whatever it is, not a lot of places can match that.
Right.
So am I going to compromise that and then go somewhere else? And it's like, you can't.
Right.
I tell people all the time, you can't. You have to set your minimum standards. And so for a long time, there was just the three tribes, you know, Stanford's, independent, improv. Then we got Arts Bar. People were like, oh, you can do open mics, like, consistently.
Right.
You don't have to pay for them. And then we kind of got more open mics. And then last year, me, my buddy Jack Merriwell, were kind of sitting, we're like, the open mic scene is good. You can do open mics just about every day of the week.
Right.
What we don't have is a showcase to really show off talent and pay talent.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's important to us is that these guys are getting compensated fairly for their time. People don't realize their time is worth something. And so they'll do these shows for free. And it's like, hey, if someone's getting money at the door and the bar's getting money,
Yeah.
and you're donating your time, where are you getting something out of this? And their answer 10 times out of 10 is stage time.
Right. Or the opportunity to perform.
Yeah, it's like, but if this is your job, the opportunity to perform needs to also come with financial compensation. So, for instance, I work at Verizon during the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I've been off for like 3.5 weeks, but I think I'm going back. But
Okay.
I think I'm going back. I don't know. But like
You'll figure that out.
Yeah, I'll know.
To your point, you're working right now.
I have a shift coming up, and I'm like, I might go.
Okay.
But like the thing is, as much as even if I loved selling phones, I would never do it for free.
Yeah.
No one would do their day job for free.
Correct.
So you have to treat comedy just like that. And you have to say, if I'm doing it for free, it needs to be a training exercise. I need to be learning something. You have to get something out of it. So when we built Cream of the Crop, it was in the basement of Wings Cafe in Westport.
Right.
It was where the first shows were. And it was, no matter how little time you do on our stage, you will be paid.
Nice.
And then it's grown. We severed our ties with Wings Cafe. There was just like a lot of little problems that we were like, we're not.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
we're not loving this.
That always goes with the territory. You know,
Yeah, and we had a deal where we gave them half of the door.
Ouch.
And it's like, man, now that we're bringing in bigger names, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because they weren't necessarily doing, I hate to throw them under the bus, but they weren't doing half the work.
Right.
And my big thing is like, you gotta
help us out here.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we met Ben. Steven Taylor's got a studio.
Yeah.
We met Ben on a whim, you know. We were there to do a meeting with Steven about some stuff. And then Ben happened to come to have another meeting with Steven. And we were just like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And so we've been at the Rhino since November. And we're paying comics more money per set than they would get at Improv or Stanford's.
Wow.
And that's like...
That's impressive.
We feel good about that.
Well, you should feel great about that, and also that people are coming. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, the Rhino's the Rhino's not the biggest space in the world, but I mean, you know, to get people to come to North Kansas City and come sit down and see a show, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
It's off the beaten path for sure. Like,
yeah.
No one would go to... I mean, Armour Road is kind of a ghost town after like 8 o'clock.
Right.
You know?
You got Kelso's.
Yeah, you're either going to go to that bar, you're either going to go to Chapel's, or you're going to go to the Rhino.
Yeah.
And luckily we've made every second Saturday the Rhino kind of a place where people know the comedy's going to be good. And that's another thing. We've only booked people we believe in.
Oh, good.
So, like, a lot of times it's like, man, this guy can bring 50 people. And it's like, but he's not a very strong comedian.
Yeah.
So do we value 50 people more than we value our integrity? And luckily with the Rhino, we've been able to say no every time.
Nice.
Which is like, well, the last, if you don't count my show, or my CD recording, the last 4 or 5 shows we did there have all been standing room only, which is amazing.
That's fantastic.
My show wasn't standing, we only had 30 people.
Right. Well, 30 for 30 for 30.
Man, I was such a diva about it. I was like,
no, we can't be more than 30.
There can't be more than 30.
This is it.
And there can't be less than 30.
It has to be exactly 30.
It has to be exactly 30. And it was very stressful to do that. But
you know, but I mean, you followed your heart.
Yeah.
You did what was, you know, you had a vision. You wanted to make sure it was done the right way.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's very dumb
was
to
it
do
exactly, that. Is it exactly 30 minutes too?
So after editing, I did 40 minutes on the actual show.
Yeah.
After editing, we got it down to where I'm on stage talking for 30 minutes.
Okay. So see, then yeah, you did it.
So we did it.
That's great.
Yeah. It's
because I'll tell you right now, if I pop this in the CD player and if I only get 28 minutes of you on stage,
good luck finding a CD player.
I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, no. It's it was a nightmare. So there's like, I did an extra joke that was gonna be a bonus track.
Okay.
And then I kind of had a moment where it was like, this is your first thing you're gonna put out. Make sure it's good.
Yeah.
Because I've always stressed about putting out a CD.
Yeah.
And DL told me, I told him, I was like, I'm not going to put it out till it's perfect. And he said, if you wait till it's perfect, you'll never put it out.
Right.
I was like, oh, shit.
That's good advice, DL.
Yeah, he's smart. He knows some shit. So we did it, and then there was some content that I would consider problematic. Like, I used to be a really shitty dude.
Oh, okay.
Still am to a degree, but like, I'm trying to grow out of that. So there was some
trying to not
jokes.
Be shitty anymore.
Right.
Like, what? Hold on. Wait. What do you mean you be a shitty dude? Or like, how do you classify that as a shitty? Like you
casual misogyny.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like full of shit, like always pooping everywhere. Or something
No,
like that.
I've always been pretty good about getting fiber in the diet. Pretty regular.
Good.
But like, casual misogyny. And it wasn't even really who I was. Like, as a person, I wasn't like a misogynist or anything like that. But like, those are the quickest way to get laughs.
Yeah.
So I made a conscious effort when I was writing this material to not have anything like that, Every joke has to have a victim. It's just how jokes work.
Yeah.
I pride myself on, for this album, I'm the victim of every joke.
Okay.
I mean, with a few exceptions, but, all of the actions directed towards me.
Okay.
These are situations I got myself into. And so there was a couple of jokes. There's one joke that was like kind of transphobic. And it was like the first thing I said. And I was like, you gotta take it out.
Yeah.
Because that's not something... a lot of comics will like pick a hill to die on.
Yeah.
And it's kind of foolish. And it's like, I don't want to alienate anyone from listening to this album because of something they heard and they weren't able to get that out of their head.
Gotcha.
You know, so anything like casual misogyny I tried to take out, transphobic I tried to take out, homophobic. There wasn't anything homophobic on this album, but like in general the writing process is like,
well, like, because as a comic you're always trying to like push buttons,
for sure,
you know, and so I mean sometimes
sure.
you gotta so much is, I mean, look, I'm not a comedian, but I always thought I was kind of silly.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I always had, like, you know, there was always everyone had the dead baby joke.
For sure.
Everyone had the Holocaust joke.
For
everyone
sure.
had the gay joke. You know, the transgender pirate joke. I mean, you know, it goes on and on and on.
All of it, yeah.
And so, like, it reaches a point where you've got the bag of dicks joke,
yep.
you know? So, like, it reaches a point now, at least in my mind, like, everyone's always kind of walking the line a lot more.
Yeah.
But at the same time, then you have someone come along and they're like, just balls to the wall. I don't give a shit what you think about what I say.
Right. I never want to be a line walker. Like, I never want to be like, oh man, people are really going down for talking about this thing.
Right.
I'll steer clear. But at the same time, if I don't have a good enough perspective on something, like if I...
Like, you want to be able to walk in somebody's shoes before you're able to, like, say a joke about it? Is that what you mean? Or, like...
It needs to be smarter than, like, the base level. Like, for instance, if I were to write a transgender joke today...
Yeah.
It would have to be smarter than, like... And then she had a dick. You know?
Right.
Like... you know, just spitballing... If I'm going to make a statement about a transgender person... It needs to be something about their physical... like, their actual... Like, so... Like, if you are a transgender man who's becoming a woman, I would appreciate it if your skirt matched your shoes. Like, put that extra effort in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, I'm not attacking you for who you are.
Right.
I'm just saying you have bad fashion sense.
Gotcha.
Which
okay.
is,
Understand.
in my mind, a greater... It's still shitty. I mean...
It's shitty, but it's also, it's not... you're not attacking... You're not, like, going all out saying you're a horrible person.
Right. I'm just saying your fashion isn't great.
Right. And anyone can relate to that.
It's like, I believe in what you're doing. I support your movement. But I need you to dress better if you're going to, you know?
I'm with you.
If you're going to be my friend.
Yeah.
You know, my shirt always matches my shoes. You know, like,
yeah.
Make the effort.
Gotcha.
And it's still a shitty joke. You know, I don't stand by that. But
I mean, it's a pretty good joke.
I mean, it's there.
It's fine. Here's the deal. We're going to take a quick break.
Yeah.
We will be right back here with Brandon Patrick on the Kansas City Podcast. Hey, Cole here. I don't know about you guys, but I think curling may be the most entertaining sport now. It's just, there's something about it. The passion, the drama, the yelling, the screaming, the sliding, the rock, the board, or the house. I mean, if you didn't catch any curling during the Olympics, I mean, you're missing out, my friends. Hey, definitely check out Brandon Patrick's brand new album, 30 for 30 for 30. I have a copy of it. It's hilarious. It debuted at number 2 on iTunes. That's incredible. Congratulations to Brandon. When we first recorded, it had yet to be released, so I can officially announce that now. It debuted at number 2, so check it out, and we will have the link to the album on our website. With that being said, here's some more of me and Brandon Patrick. Welcome back to the Kansas City Podcast. Cole Lindbergh here with Brandon Patrick. Brandon.
Yeah.
You know, a couple weeks ago, we started a brand new segment on the show.
Let's do it.
And I think that you would be a true champion of this segment.
I'm in it.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's time for Hot Takes.
Okay.
Oh, we're coming in hot. Hot Takes. Hottest of the hot. Hot Takes. Show me what you got. Oh, Hot Takes. right, Brandon, here's the deal. I want your hot takes, man. Are you ready?
All right.
Fergie's national anthem. Did you listen to it? Did you see it? Did you witness it?
I saw it, and look, it sucks, but that song sucks. Like, who fucking cares? Like, look, she tried to go for a thing. As someone who's gone for it a bunch and missed the mark,
yeah,
I get it.
What was the thing she was going for?
If you've ever seen a black woman sing anything, that's kind of what it looks like.
It was kind of like she was doing some weird jazz.
She was getting the soul and the... Look, when you try to put...
drum in the back, like...
Yeah, that wasn't helping. That didn't help.
Yeah, that was... Yeah.
But when you're trying to put soul into a soulless song, that's what you get. 90% of the time. Dude, I've never heard the Star Spangled Banner and been moved. Like, oh, that was amazing. It's like improv. Like, even good improv is still kind of boring to me. And I have friends that do great improv. I'm not talking about those guys. What I'm saying
go ahead and course correct.
By and large, the improv, Star Spangled Banner, all that shit, like, even at the best, it's still very uninteresting to me. So good for her for getting people to talk about that shitty song. It's a bad song.
It's a bad song.
Yeah.
But it was weird, though.
Team Fergie, but, like, you know.
Fergalicious.
Yeah.
Still I guess
she still got her hits.
I guess the real question is, was the song Fergalicious?
This song can't be Fergalicious.
Well, no, but with her singing it. Was her version Fergalicious in the sense of Fergalicious?
I can't give it to her.
Okay.
But she damn sure made an effort. Bud, what are you doing here?
A dog just joined us.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Hey, buddy.
This isn't even I've never seen this dog before.
You ready for your next one?
Yeah.
I know that you are one thing that I've learned about you.
Yeah.
Is that you were a huge fan of booze.
Yeah.
You got a hot take on booze right now? How do you? I know that's kind of a generalization,
big
but
fan.
You're a big fan.
Big fan.
What should people be drinking on right now? Do you got like a special?
I'm a big bourbon guy.
Okay.
So I always say like Angel's Envy.
Oh.
I always say spend the money because.
Oh, you spend the money for good booze.
Good booze because people are like, oh, I don't like whiskey, and it's like, nah, you don't like Old Crow, but you know, spend $50-$60, get you some Maker's Mark. That's like. Maker's Mark is the lowest quality I'll drink.
Okay.
And a lot of bars, that's their top shelf.
Right.
But what do you... Stop.
Don't worry, I can edit this
Oh
part
my
out.
God, Max.
Silly
what
dog.
are you... Bud.
What are you doing, Max? Hey, buddy. Hi.
I like how he's my dog and he's not even paying attention to me.
You can just hang out here. There you go. You're good. So spend the extra money.
Spend the money. There's good tequilas in the world. Like, learn them, you know?
Yeah.
I have probably 60 bottles at my house of booze.
60?
It might be 40.
It's
still a lot. It's a lot. But the thing is, when someone comes over and they say, can you make me a such and such? Not only can I make it, I can make it how you like it, and probably better than any bar.
Because you've got it.
I've got the booze. Like, I've made the investment.
Wow. Here we go. You ready for your next one?
He's done with us.
This silly dog.
He's just moving on.
Snapchat.
The new layout is...
What's your hot take on Snapchat? I was going to ask about the new layout because it's driving me crazy.
It's not convenient, man. It's really hard to, like... I'm pretty much done with Snapchat, so I got in kind of early.
Yeah.
And I befriended a lot of, like, strippers and stuff like that, so you see a lot of great stuff. These women are getting older now, and now it's a lot about their kids. So I was already pretty much 1 foot out the door.
Uh-huh.
You know, you're not seeing as many nipples as you'd like, and now it's like impossible to find these people because the new layout.
Yeah, like to search and discover people is ridiculous.
It's bad.
So what's going to happen? Like, where is it at now? Is it back to Instagram? Is it back to, like, Twitter is totally... I can't get on Twitter now without, like, I just follow too many people.
Yeah, Twitter's...
And everyone's a pundit, and everyone has their own opinion, and it just drives me crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
Instagram's fine, but Instagram's getting worse, because now every time I log on, there's more ads and, like...
Instagram has
people,
maybe...
Oh, you need to meet this person. I'm like, who the hell is this?
Instagram maybe has the worst algorithm I've ever seen. Like, Instagram will show me a post from 4 days ago that I've already seen at the top of the page. It's like, dude, I want to see the newest shit first.
Yeah, it's no longer in order.
Yeah, show me. Dude, I follow these people because I want to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
What they're wearing, what the new shoe is, what the new music is, the new special. Show me that shit. Don't show me. I'm still seeing Valentine's Day stuff. And it's like, dude, I could give a shit, you know? Like.
Next one, you ready?
Yeah.
What do you think of the streetcar? What's your hot take on the Kansas City streetcar?
It's so dumb. What does it go, 6 blocks?
Yeah, something like that.
Dude, walk. Like,
I'm a little bit longer than that.
I lived in Chicago for a year.
Okay.
A city with real public transportation.
Oh, yeah.
You can get from one place to another. And it's like...
You can do all public transportation there.
Yeah,
it's
like
crazy.
expansive.
Yeah.
A streetcar in Kansas City is like, you're downtown, you want to get more downtown? You want to go up north? Okay, we'll take you to River Market, and then you could walk it. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's like a vanity project. It's like, so you can show people, oh, look how modern we are. You have free transportation. Yeah, but it doesn't go anywhere. It's in the actual street, so it impedes traffic. Like, it's poorly designed. I can't say enough bad things about it. Like, really? I can't find one redeeming quality. It's not faster than driving. It doesn't go enough places.
Would you want to see it go more places?
If you could do like a comprehensive, like, if I can get from Power and Light to Westport,
yeah,
2 places I'd really rather not be. But if I can get from there to there,
that's your measuring stick. If you can get to those 2, okay.
If I can get from one dense area to another dense area, great.
Yeah.
If I can get from Westport to the Plaza, which again, just walk. If I can get from there to there, great.
Got it.
But what, P&L to River Market?
P&L to River Market, then also go down to Union Station.
Yeah, down to Union Station. Come on. That is 15 blocks.
It's not enough.
Yeah.
Last one here for hot takes.
Uh-oh.
SpaceX. You know, they launched a rocket and then Elon Musk put his car into space.
Yeah.
His Tesla into space. I have a very hot take on Elon Musk. I think he's like 1 degree away of becoming like an evil super genius.
Yeah, he's a super villain for sure.
Yeah, he's so Dr. Evil in so many ways.
Lex Luthor did all of this in Superman 3 with Richard Pryor. He did all of this. Like, which, by the way, watch Superman 3 with Richard Pryor. Very bizarre movie.
Yeah.
But it,
what do you think about this? Them launching his car into space.
First of all, great advertising for a car that 90% of the world can't afford.
Yeah.
But then he's like, hey, I'm going to build solar panels for everyone. And it's like, hey, man, who said I want that?
Mm-hmm.
He's like making decisions on a massive scale for people because he's probably evil. These things, I mean, it sounds conspiratorial, but like, he's probably a dick, you know? He's dating Scarlett Johansson. Or no, he's dating Amber Heard.
Oh, Johnny Depp's ex.
Johnny Depp's ex. And
I don't know how I know that. I think I've been spent too much time on Snapchat.
Hey, but you know it. That's important.
I'm learning.
He's dating her, and it's like, you can't be interested in someone like that and world domination.
Yeah.
But of course you're interested in someone like that. Like, that's his Bond girl.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's not interesting enough. I don't know.
Are you worried?
Yeah. I mean, he's the kind of guy who Russia would be like, hey, we're blowing up America in 5 minutes. And North Korea's like, no, we're blowing up America in 3 minutes. And Elon Musk is like, actually, I've disarmed the entire world. And none of you know it. Also, now all your cell phones transmit directly to my office. I control your cars. I put a chip in them a long time ago. All your cars, I drive them. Like, you do what I say, or I, you know.
And I put seat warmers in all your office chairs.
Yeah, like he does like these benign things. You're like, oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, self-driving cars, but if you fuck up, it'll go off a bridge. You know, make a move.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like.
Yeah. It's like he could take his enemies out, get into the computer system of the car.
I think he's going to slowly start taking people out
Ooh.
with these car accidents. And because there's no accountability. You always hear about these self-crashing cars.
Yeah.
Or self-driving cars crashing. And then
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, they, they paid him $13 million and everything is all good. What?
Brandon, thank you for all your hot takes.
Yeah. Where's my dog? He just came to check it out. He's like, is that talking? Okay.
Oh, we're coming in hot. Hot takes. Hottest of the hot. Hot takes. Show me what you got. Oh, hot takes. Hottest of the hot. Hot takes. So I got a question for you about comedy.
Yeah.
Do you, who is DL your favorite of all time?
No.
Who's your favorite of all time?
Chappelle.
Chappelle?
Yeah.
Do you, I'm in a weird spot because I didn't know much about Chappelle until Chappelle's show. And that's probably pretty normal for a white guy like me.
No, you'd be surprised. So Chappelle's fan base, before Chappelle's show,
Yeah.
primarily white.
Really?
Because he'd done a movie called Half Baked.
Oh, that's right. See, and I was not a Half-Baked fan.
Yeah, and so a lot of the Half Baked crowd, predominantly white,
Makes sense.
became Chappelle fans. So prior to Chappelle's show, his fan base was majorly white. And they did Killing Them Softly in DC
Yeah.
for a largely black audience, and that's kind of when we turned the corner. We're like, oh, this guy's not bad. And then Chappelle's show came, and then everybody was like, oh, this guy's really good.
Yeah.
But that show, one of my best friends in comedy, Charlie Murphy, was on that show. And so he had a big hand in writing a lot of those sketches.
What's it like hanging out with Charlie Murphy? I can only imagine that's got to be just craziness.
So I'm a weed fan.
Okay.
Charlie Murphy was definitely a weed guy. Probably of the 5 highest times I've been in my life, 2 were with Charlie. One time, me and my family were living in Arlington, Texas.
Yeah.
Me and Charlie did the Arlington Improv, which was a 1-mile straight shot from our neighborhood.
Okay.
You go up one street and you're in the strip mall where the Improv is. I got so high I had to call my parents to come get me. I was like, hey. It was like 4 a.m. I was like, hey, would you guys come pick me up? And they're like, you're just up the street. I'm like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But what if I go the wrong way? I would just rather you come get me. And my parents had to come, both of them. One had to drive my car back and one had to pick me up.
Wow.
4 a.m.
Well, it's nice that they did that for you.
Yeah.
Did they know you were hanging out with Charlie Murphy?
Yeah. That's the only reason that was like acceptable.
Okay.
Was they were like, all right, you got a story, but don't make this a habit. One time I got high with him in the Sprint Center, and like we had what's called a God Pass.
Oh, okay. You get everywhere.
Which is you can go anywhere. Because I knew Charlie and DL. So they were like, give him a God Pass so we can just walk from Charlie's dressing room to DL's dressing room. And I got the highest I think I've ever been in the bowels of the Sprint Center.
Yeah.
Shout out to those guys for not throwing us out. But super high. We were going to go to DL's dressing room. It's me and my friend Aaron. Which is not a straight shot, but it's you make one turn, you make another turn. There it is.
Okay.
I got so high. I remember seeing WWE was in the Sprint Center the week before.
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder if Brock Lesnar left any stuff. So I'm just walking around the Sprint Center looking for Brock Lesnar stuff. Jesus. Which, first of all, what does that even mean? Second of all, you're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to be on one side of the Sprint Center.
Okay.
I end up way on the other side. To the point where there's security guards like, hey, man.
Are you lost? Or?
I was like, nah, dude, I got the pass. And he's like, even still, you're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
I was where concessions restocks.
Oh, okay. So you were you were in the far undergrounds.
I was in where you shouldn't even be.
Like where there's like the lights are kind of like just dimming on and off and stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Like, so there's all those restaurants.
Yeah.
Well, they have like central storage in the bowels, and that's where I was. And like, you need a key to be. I was already in there. It was ridiculous. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, you seen Brock Lesnar? He's like, where are you coming from, man? I was like, oh, I'm at the show. And then so he's like, sent us back. And then this security dude was the biggest guy I've ever seen. Comes up to me, puts his hand on my chest.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, my man. And I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This is where they rough you up. Mm-hmm. Puts his hand on my chest. My man, they got barbecue in this room over here. And then I was like, what? I was so terrified. I was like, fuck, okay, I gotta eat this barbecue.
Yeah.
So then I come back, I go, and it's the Gates people catering it.
Okay.
So they're like, oh, we'll make you a plate. And I was like, no, I got it. And I remember making my own plate that was so heavy with beans, I had to triple plate it because it was like folding in half.
Oh, wow.
And beans were, and they're like, hey, man, is everything okay? I was like, I just gotta eat this barbecue. That guy's gonna kick my ass. And they're like, what? I was like, not a big deal. And I was taking like, there's a certain amount of food you should grab when it's free.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
To where it's not tacky.
It's not a buffet.
Yeah. I was grabbing Golden Corral portions where you're like, how many steaks can you put on this plate? 4? We'll put fucking 4 on. Like,
yeah.
Dude, I had so much meat, so much brisket on my plate at one point. They were like, hey, you need to put some of that back.
Yeah.
I was like, legally, you can't put it back. HIPAA, and I walked off. My buddy's like, HIPAA's like healthcare. That has nothing to do with food. I was like, you're right.
Yeah.
And I came, like, an hour and a half later, I showed up back in Charlie's dressing room. He was like, how's DL? I was like, oh, I never made it over there.
Who's DL?
Yeah. He's like, what? I was like, dude, do you want barbecue? He's like, no, man. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't make it.
You didn't make it. So here's the question that I ask a lot of Kansas City-based artists, comedians, and things like that. I'm sure you've traveled around.
Yeah.
And you've gotten to go on some form of tour and see different people, different places, and things like that. Are you going to move? Are you going to stay? Or are you going to move?
I'm going to go.
Where are you going to go?
So it's interesting. I used to hate Kansas City.
Okay.
I've always felt that by being here, I was...
Well, what brought you here in the first place?
If we're being totally honest, I was in college. I had a big cocaine addiction.
Okay.
My parents had just moved here from New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should sober up. I'll come sober up.
Okay.
I did a year here, sobered up, went back to Oklahoma, and then I graduated. And I was like, I don't really have any plans. I'll just go live with my parents again.
Okay.
So I did that, and it was like my safety thing, where it's like, there's no consequences to living here. I don't have to do anything, and I can just go do comedy, and I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And so Kansas City's always been like this low stakes place for me, where like I can't ever fuck up too bad. Like at this point, I'm one of the better comedians in the city, and it's like I can't fuck up too bad to where that'll go away.
Right.
Like I'll always be a beast. So,
like Brock Lesnar.
Well, still never found his stuff. But I lived in Chicago for a year.
Yeah.
And I went to Chicago, and I was like, I'm actually a beast here too.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I didn't want to put the work in. I was like, well, you guys should know me, like, and like some people did, but like they were like, you also have to work, and I was like, nah, fuck all that. Like,
yeah.
So now I understand what it means to put the work in, and it's like that can't be done here because I'm already an established thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to go somewhere. It's either Chicago, looks great, but the winters are fucking...
Yeah, Chicago winters are...
brutal.
Yeah.
New York, I did New York last year, and I don't think I could live there because I'd be a constant tourist, man. Like, I was just looking up the whole time. Like, I was walking, like, I can't believe something is this big.
Yeah.
And, like...
that there's this many tall buildings. And,
I don't think I could
over here's
afford
this
it.
and this, yeah.
I don't think the quality of life that I would enjoy, I could live in New York.
Yeah.
So Chicago's really pulling pretty heavy, but then LA is like,
Yeah.
Ultimately, you have to be. LA is like the beautiful woman of comedy, where she's like, you have to be here. You know, when are you gonna come?
So when are you gonna go?
That's the thing. So, 2 times I've tried to go to LA in my life.
Okay.
First time was 2 years ago, and on my way there, I remember I took my girlfriend out to dinner one last time.
Okay.
My car started acting funny in the parking lot of the dinner
Oh.
while I was driving back here. I got it back home. Shit just started going dark in my car.
Okay.
Like as I'm driving, I was like, what the fuck? My alternator blew out. It took with it, or these were unrelated, I'll never know, my fuel pump, my serpentine belt, the water pump,
Basically
one
your
of
whole
my
car.
yeah, one of the pistons blew out. Like, just what?
Yeah.
$1,000 damage right there.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's the money I was gonna. Oh, I'm not leaving. And so I was bummed, and I got super depressed. And that's kind of when we created Cream of the Crop. It was like a few months after that, where I was like, I just need an outlet
Yeah.
to do something.
Right.
You know, I was like, I'll just start giving back. I'll put good karma in the world, and I'll give back. Then, in the ramp up to the album, DL offered me, he's like, just come out for a week, we'll do radio, and we'll see what that looks like. And I was like, I know I'll kill it. And then he'll offer me the job,
Yeah.
and then I'll be on the radio, which means I'll have a job, and I'll just do that.
Yeah.
So it was like, awesome. Then I got the flu.
Oh.
Like early January, I got the flu. I was like, okay, well, this is kind of taking me out. So stopped working, didn't make a ton of money. It's like, I got enough to get to LA though, not a big deal. Then, about a week and a half ago, I was supposed to be in LA last week, about a week and a half ago, my boss called me into work. I had the flu, I was sick, I was like, whatever, dude, I'll just go. I'm driving, it's that day that it snowed out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I'm going down a hill, a car's coming at me. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get out of the way. I dive out of the way, put my car on the curb, bust the front tire, bust the rim, destroy the CV joint, crack the axle. Car's totaled. They tow it, $200. I take it to the mechanic, $100 just to tell me I can't do anything.
Right.
So now, it's twice I've tried to go to LA. Both times my car was like, you sure?
Right.
Like, because I could fuck up at any time. And now I got a total car, so now I'm like not as mobile as I need to be.
Okay.
So I was like, hey, I got to save up. I can't go to LA. And he's like, all right.
Is it a bad omen?
Part of me thinks it might be, you know, but it's like,
Because I'm worried just based on that story alone.
yeah,
You know, you don't have a place to live.
no.
Okay. So you'd be living in your car.
So the first time I did, I called my buddy. I was like, hey, I'm not going to make it. I totaled my car. I'm trying to fly out there.
Yeah.
And he was like, actually, my girlfriend just moved in.
Oh, okay.
We kind of like our space. Don't
Nice.
come out here.
Yeah.
But I had gigs booked that time. Like, I was going to audition, be in Craig Robinson's band. Like,
You were trying a bunch of crazy stuff.
I had everything kind of worked out.
Yeah.
This time, I was going to crash on some couches until I figured it out. But, dude, it's just... Part of me thinks it's a bad omen. It's like, don't go to LA.
Yeah.
The other part of me
It's just like, oh, this is another obstacle.
thinks the universe is like, how bad do you want it?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's the optimistic way of looking at it.
I don't even know if it's optimistic. I think it's just like the universe is like, hey, like this isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
And I've had friends in comedy who started with me, and like every year, 2 of my friends quit, or they don't pursue it as hard, or they get really jaded or bitter. Because this is the easiest industry to get bitter because.
You should try running a podcast.
I used to have one. But like, you're not talking shit on this person. but I've been doing comedy for 8 years. I've never headlined a week at a comedy club. I'm just not a big enough draw. Not a big deal. Stanford's just headlined a girl who's been doing comedy for less than 2 months.
Whoa.
It's super easy to look at shit like that and be like,
jaded.
Fuck this industry. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, one of the things you have to do in this industry, and I love Steven Taylor to death for this because he's like the best at it. One of the things you have to do to be successful is you have to learn to look at your friend's success as like group success.
Gotcha.
So when they got that Barrel of the Bottom studio,
yeah,
we all won. Because now we have a place to do our podcast. We have a place to write. We all won. When I recorded my album, I was like, guys, if we all get behind this and we all support this, yeah, it'll elevate me for sure. It'll move me up. But when my friend Jack Merriwell puts his album out in a month, I can, you know, I can put my whatever behind it and help his album do better.
Yeah.
So that when Steven puts his album out, me and Jack, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're all
I'm like,
collectively helping everybody.
If we all got behind each other and built,
yeah,
then we could all collectively push each other forward. And so once you have that shift in mindset to where you're not upset at your friends for getting things that you don't have, and you start appreciating, like, fuck, that opens up a door for everyone.
Right.
Once you realize that, shit goes better.
So at the end of the day, if you do end up in LA,
yeah,
and you make it big, it's a collective success.
It helps
all
everybody.
Those that help push you there.
Yeah, like me and Jack do shows together.
Yeah.
If I get famous, me and Jack will still do shows together. It's just we'll be able to get paid more.
Yeah.
You know, like my buddy Chris Porter, he's thrown me on some shows where it's like, oh wow, thanks, dude. He's like, no, you're a good guy. You know, I want you on my shows. But now it's like, we were talking, and it's like, wouldn't it be cool if we could just do this all the time?
Yeah.
If we could just always, me and Chris and this dude Justin, what if we could just always tour? And it's like, well, fuck, there is a way to make that happen.
Yeah.
We just have to get to the point to where all three of us are marketable enough.
Yeah.
To make that happen. And so he's helping me do shit. I'm helping, you know, it's like once we all get to a certain point, everything goes great for everyone.
I get what I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
Hopefully that makes sense.
It makes sense in all the world. So now, hopefully, so this is my hope for you, right?
Yeah.
My hope is that your album sells big money. You pay off, you know, the cost of making that and everything, and then you use that to bootstrap your way to LA.
Well, the good thing is, self-financed everything.
Okay.
So Ben recorded it.
Yeah.
Huge praise to that guy. Paid off Ben.
Yeah.
I did the artwork myself.
Nice.
All that was done by me. So I paid myself what I thought that was worth. Sent it off to some people. They made it professional. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So it's done. Now every dollar I make is pure profit.
Nice.
So it's like, did you hear the Monique thing?
The Monique thing?
Monique got mad at Netflix. Because Netflix, she said their offer was too low.
Oh, okay.
Netflix offered her $500,000 to do a special.
Okay.
She said she's worth more than that.
Okay.
Irregardless of, that's not a word. Regardless of if that's true or not.
Yeah.
What her actual worth is. What I took from that is you're letting someone control your worth. So what I said is I'm going to let the market control my worth. I'm going to make the product as good as I can. And then I'm going to put it out there and, you know, obviously advertise and support it. But the market will say, this is worth X.
Gotcha.
You know, I've had a label come to me and they say, hey, we'll give you $5,000, you know, blah, 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 blah. Record the thing. And it's like, I don't like that.
There's contracts.
There's contracts. They own it.
You're putting a number on it.
They own it until they make their money back. And it's like, with this, I own this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I 100% own this. So, like, to own your content, no one understands the value in that.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I own the only thing I don't own is 2 videos, the Live KC videos. Things that are generating revenue.
Right.
I don't own those, but I like that they're out there.
Yeah.
You know? But I own my content. And so I can go to people and I can say, hey, you know, you want to buy this or you want to lease this or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's my money.
Nice.
Like, so many people will just, oh, it's easier if I get with a label and they do all the stuff for me. It is easier.
But it sounds like you're willing to put in the work.
You've got to be willing to put the work in.
Yeah.
That's the only way to
That's the
get.
difference. That's the difference between you and everybody else. You're willing to put the work in.
I'm willing to invest in myself. Is what I would say. A lot of people are so busy looking for validation from somewhere else, they forget you can just do it yourself and let the market decide.
Yeah.
Which is what we've done with the CD, and you know, hopefully the market is friendly. You know.
Yeah. Well, we will be linking to it from our website.
Awesome.
We'll be posting it on Facebook and stuff. We're nearing the end of our time today, sir.
Yeah, it's been long.
Yeah, it's been
Couple days.
It's been a great time.
Dogs have come through.
Yeah, we did have a dog come through.
Yeah.
This is your time to shine. This is your plug, sir. This is
Okay.
Tell people where to find you.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll link to the album on the website and stuff. But how can people find you? Maybe go see you perform. Give us the info. What's the deets?
So the website is brandoncomedy.com.
That's a good web address.
Yeah, I was smart enough to get that. Here's how smart I was. I own brandoncomedy.com. My Twitter's at brandoncomedy.
Yeah.
My Facebook's at brandoncomedy. And my Instagram's at brandoncomedy.
Oh, see, perfect.
So it's just my name, my job, Brandon Comedy.
Yep.
Every second Saturday, we do a show called Cream of the Crop. This March, it's our 1-year anniversary, so we're doing what's called a Cream Stravaganza.
Okay.
Which is every comic we've booked over the past year
Yeah.
can come through in due time.
Nice.
So we might have 5 comics. We might have 55 comics. We're putting them all up. We're paying them all, just like we always do. And we're just going to have a ball of a night. That's going to be... What day is that? I think it's next Saturday. It's... Whatever day St. Patrick's Day is.
Well, St. Patrick's is the 17th.
17th. It's the 17th.
So Saturday the 17th.
Yes.
Is that...
Yes.
All right.
But usually Cream of the Crop's every second Saturday. We always put the best comedians up. We've never had a bad show. We super pride ourselves on that. And I'd really appreciate if you guys got 30 for 30 for 30. You can get it on iTunes. You can get it on Amazon. My website is where I sell physical copies. They're more expensive, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
I'm doing a deal where if you buy the digital copy and then PayPal me $5, I'll mail you a physical anyway.
Oh, nice.
So it's like, you still win.
Cool.
You know, if you need to own a CD, which
I now own one.
you now own one. Yeah.
I still have a CD player in my car.
Do you really?
I'll be listening to it, yes.
One of those.
I know. Well, it's an old
Fancy car.
It's got like a hookup for the iPod, but
car-
it also has a CD player.
My car doesn't have any of that.
Oh.
I don't even
Because
have
you destroyed your car.
Well, that's true. Even before, I didn't have a cassette player. I have radio.
Yeah.
Radio and my thoughts. That's what I have.
It's like,
Ugh.
tuning it in. Seeking and searching.
Yeah, guys, help me get a new car.
Yeah. Well, no. We got to help you get a new car.
Yeah.
And then we got to help you get to LA
Use that car to get
to achieve your dreams.
out of here. And, now that I kind of appreciate Kansas City.
Well, I'm glad you do. I mean, it is the Kansas City podcast. You don't want to leave anybody thinking, oh, this guy's a dick.
I used to hate it, man. But now that I've built something here and this place helped me get established, I'm like, man, everywhere I go is going to know about Kansas City. Like Chris Porter always wears Kansas City shirts. Eddie Griffin always wears Kansas City hats.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do any of that. But when people ask where I'm from, instead of being like Oklahoma, I'm more proud to say Kansas City.
Very nice.
So
I like that. And with that, we're going to end today's show.
yeah.
Remember, folks, you can find me on Twitter at Cole Lindbergh. Check out our website, theKansasCityPodcast.com. On Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Kansas City Pod. Brandon, it's been fantastic having you on the show today, sir. I greatly appreciate it. We will have you back someday.
Hell yeah.
And we'll hear more about the adventures in your life.
Oh, boy.
And your quest to not only be a fantastic comedian,
I want to be the
worldwide
best.
known,
Yeah.
but you're also your quest to no longer be a shitty guy.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully there's no relapses between now and... Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, folks, we'll see y'all next time. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next week here on the Kansas City Podcast.